I get invited back year after year to share this time with you at Gathering. I want you to know I never take it for granted. I never assume that I've got the gig, right? In fact, to tell you the truth, I learned a couple of years ago that it can't just be about another presentation. Because I got the presentation skills down, you guys. I got those down, but it can't be another presentation. It has to be a conversation. And if you were to call me in the last week and say, hey, Winn, what's up? What's going on in your life, Winn? You know what I would tell you? Exactly what I'm going to share with you right now. And so I've learned that the best presentations, the best conversations are I share my life and you share your life with me. It just so happens that we're all kind of connected on some level. Talk about, connect. We are connected on some level. If we were all honest with each other at a cocktail party, we find out that we're all going through the same stuff, right? Like, you're going through that? Me too, right? And so what? So I'm very grateful that you just give me permission, year after year to come and just kind of share with you what I've been up to lately, what's been going on with me lately. And what has been coming up a lot are relationships. We in our Palm Mitchell schools talk about values and behaviors. Values and behaviors. And we talk that our behavior needs to match what we value. For example, if we say that we value health and wellness, but our behavior is such that it doesn't match what we value, meaning we drink and smoke heavily, we don't have a good diet, we don't have exercise, so our behavior does not match the value of health and wellness, what will happen to self-esteem? It diminishes. If your behavior does not match what you value, self-esteem diminishes. So if you say that you value relationships, and by the way, who would not say that they value relationships? We all value, well then our behavior needs to match what we value. And what has been coming up for me recently is that sometimes it's so easy that we fall into what I want to call us versus them mentality. It's us versus them. So in your salon at work, maybe you have an us versus them mentality against somebody that you work with every single day. Maybe in your family, you have that us versus them attitude with people in your family, But that's what was coming up for me. And I don't know about you guys, but, when it comes to relationships, it's messy out there. Are you with me? One of my mentors, Marianne Williamson, used to say that, she didn't like high school because she felt like high school didn't prepare her for the real world. But then she got out into the real world and realized it's just like high school. And that's what can come up in relationships. In relationships, us versus them. Well, you know what? They started it. They started it, right? Us versus them. And so I just kind of have to be honest with you. And by the way, I did get permission from, these two guys that I'm going to talk about. I got permission, said, hey, can I talk about this from the stage? And they both said yes, because it's been something that's worked for us. On this stage and on many other stages, even in my book, I talk about no regrets. And that's one of my mantras. One of my goals in life is to have no regrets. No regrets. Well, I remember towards the end of last year, so we're getting ready for a new year, and I'm always thinking about resolutions and changes and stuff. Towards the end of last year, when it came to a couple of relationships, there were regrets. People that I worked with, there was this us versus them mentality. And, can't enter the new year basically being a liar. I got to clean some things up. And I'll tell you, one of those us versus them relationships was with Scott Cole. I had, it's me against Scott Cole relationship. And by the way, I would share it with staff members, which meant what was that going to do with their relationship with Scott Cole? And I could probably sit here and just share with you 100 reasons of, why I was right and why I deserve to hold on to that baggage of us versus them mentality with Scott Cole. At the end of the day, my mantra is no regrets. What kind of a life do I want to have? What do I want to let go of? What do I want to grow from? And so I called Scott, and it was almost like he was just waiting for the phone call. Like he was just ready for the phone call. Hey, Scott, Winn! And, hey, we got to get together. We got together, and it was wonderful. It was just like, because he had surrendered, I had surrendered. We just talked about whatever. We didn't go back to address, well, this is when it started. It started because you did this, and then you did that, and your mother wears army boots. We didn't have to go into that kind of stuff. All we had to do was, hey, that's in the past. We want to move forward. And we value relationships. We value relationships. Somebody asked me later, hey, Winn, was it really difficult for you to make that phone call to Scott Cole? I was like, You know what was difficult? Holding on to it for so many years. Not making that phone call was so difficult. And the other person, it was actually really recently, it was, Rick Battellini, who everybody loves Rick Battellini, right? I mean, I was like, you sure you're an accountant? You have a personality here. So I've always had this love relationship with Rick Battellini. He's always been so respectful and fun playing in the school network. And I all of a sudden noticed that something changed. There was a shift somewhere. Something changed. And I even talked to Luke about it. I'm like, Luke, and Luke's like, Winn, I think this is just your imagination.